What's going on, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well. And in today's video, we have our Bad Batch episode 13 titled Infested, breakdown, review, and theories towards the end of the video. So do stay tuned for all of that, guys. Without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. Starting out with a few things that you may or may have not missed, and a few breakdowns and Easter eggs really towards this overall episode and things that we saw. We have a brand new kind of villain that was in this episode here, that being Roland, of course, and he was an interesting character, all to say, quite honestly, but he wasn't really all that interesting, to be completely honest. That's something I'm going to talk about more towards the end of the video, is some of my more honest opinions and thoughts about the overall episode, so do be sure you are watching till the end to, see all my thoughts and opinions and theories and predictions as well. There is notably, it's not really a huge thing that's talked about all that much, but there is some sort of time jump here actually between the previous episode, episode 12, and episode 13 that we do see, as Tech mentions fighting some pretty big monsters apparently on their last mission, saying that Sid better pay a big amount for that mission, seeing that they fought a lot of monsters. So that can be presumed that it wasn't taking place on Ryloth, as I don't quite honestly really remember any big monsters. Now, of course, with Roland coming in and taking over Sid's kind of little cantina or parlor there, of course, whatever you want to call it, that kind of left the Bad Batch there kind of in a rut there. But I had mentioned this in previous episode breakdowns, seeing after, I think it was episode 11 now at this point, maybe even episode 12, or episode 10 rather, sorry, seeing when Omega actually paid off all the debt that they owed Sid, I really thought and was hoping that they would kind of move on from Sid. And seeing the point being towards that is that Sid just isn't really contributing too much to the overall story and plot, and at times a lot of fans actually find themselves just confused and watching this show. What's even the point of it? What's the main plot? And really, to kind of clear that up, the main plot is really discovering about Order 66 here, the inhibitor chips there, and really that whole arc there between Crosshair and his fellow brothers, the Bad Batch, of course, and then also now having the clone uprising there and having Captain Hauser be a thing as well. There's just bigger and better things that the Bad Batch really could be doing, especially when we do first see them introduced in the final season of the Clone Wars. They just come in and they're just absolute beasts. They can take down anything, it seems like, but over here it just almost feels like they're just kind of messing around at this point with just like side missions and stuff, and in a way that can of course be arguably, they're clones, they don't know any better, of course, so it would be presumed that they're looking for their way throughout this galaxy, looking for some sort of way to make money and all those different terms, of course. Now, for as far as Easter eggs and things that you may have missed, the Pikes, of course, were first introduced in Season 7 of the Clone Wars, the final season of the Clone Wars, kind of more or less specifically towards the Ahsoka arc there, when we have Ahsoka kind of come back and was working with Trace and Rafa, who also actually appeared in earlier episodes of the Bad Batch as well, and they had to deliver spice, which was the kind of thing that they were working with, or trying to steal, the Bad Batch were trying to steal here in this episode from Roland. And of course, the Pikes are actually from Kessel, and Kessel is being that main planet really from Solo there, where we do see the Kessel Run and the Spice Run and all of that. So that's kind of where all of that comes from and is kind of referred to, kind of almost bridging a little bit of a gap there between the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. I mean, as far as really all of that, there's really just not too many other Easter eggs or things you may have missed throughout this overall episode, as everything was just kind of straightforward. Seeing that this episode was called Infested, you would have expected something more, I guess, exciting maybe at that point, but it was really just kind of bugs in an abandoned mining facility, which just didn't have anything really too much to do with anything in previous Star Wars universe content. And I know I've already pretty much given a huge chunk of my thoughts and opinions, I feel like, already throughout this video. We're going to move on to some of my thoughts and opinions here now at this point of the video, with theories and predictions right after that, so do be sure you are staying tuned for that as well. Now, of course, before watching this actual episode of The Bad Batch, I had heard a lot of bad things about the overall episode, actually. Just a lot of people were just hating on it, saying that it was horrible, no good, it was just boring, nothing happened, pretty much, etc., etc. You get the point. So I went in, of course, having that in the back of my mind, of course, with watching this brand new episode. But of course, I look forward every week. I mean, who doesn't look forward every week to a new episode of The Bad Batch? I'm not trying to sound like a hater or anything like that. Of course, do keep that bear in mind. I'm heavily invested into this show. I think that many episodes of the show have been absolutely amazing. It's a pretty awesome continuation of the Star Wars universe and galaxy from the Clone Wars, which I just think is absolutely amazing. And of course, like I had already mentioned before, I look forward every single week towards Friday to a brand new episode of The Bad Batch. So bear that in mind and keep that in mind. Going into it, I had kept that in mind that not many people actually enjoyed this episode all that much, but I didn't really want that much to influence my whole, I guess, thoughts and opinions on this episode either. So really, my pure uninfluenced thoughts and opinions on this episode is I thought it was okay. I thought it had some decent action there. What the Bad Batch were doing there, helping out Sid, seeing that, Sid had helped out the Bad Batch before, it just kind of seemed even, I guess, to do so, of course. And then, of course, furthermore, seeing that Omega is just kind of almost like friends with everybody, being Roland, wanting to help Sid when, the Bad Batch, they come back, don't find Sid, call it a day, and try to get off the planet, but are stopped by Sid, of course, to help her on this mission, of course. And then all the different action there kind of between, I guess, Roland's people there, and then, of course, Sid and the Bad Batch was pretty awesome, I think, as well. But then, by the end of the episode, it's just, what exactly happened? What's the point? And I had mentioned this earlier on in the video, of course. As it does feel some fans, including myself, almost find kind of confused of what the overall point and plot of this show is exactly supposed to be. It's supposed to be about, the Bad Batch versus Crosshair, the inhibitor chips, and now introducing the clone uprising there with Captain Hauser, having a possible Boba Fett and versus Cad Bane, Fennec Shand, all of them coming together, and seeing all of that come together, and even seeing, the Camino there with the cloning facility and all of that. And at the end of the episode, of course, I thought it was a pretty okay episode with, a decent amount of action with what I normally look forward to, of course, as well. But as far as the actual overall plot and what this show is exactly supposed to be getting at, it just didn't really contribute anything towards that. And then, of course, also realizing and thinking that there's only 3 episodes left of this overall show, as we are nearing episode 16 now, so we kind of want to get to the more nitty and grittier type of things, having Crosshair or having Cad Bane and Fennec Shand, and even a possible appearance of Boba Fett, which I'm starting to really think that's going to happen, of course, and that's something I want to talk about on a separate video, of course, as well. I'm really hoping that we do hopefully get some sort of scene here with Boba Fett and Cad Bane, of course. So with that, as far as theories and suspicions and predictions, and that kind of all rhymes actually, as far as all of that stuff kind of goes there with all of that, there isn't really too much stuff to really suspect or anything like that. Of course, it was interesting and cool to see the return of the Pikes there also reappearing there, so that's something that we can kind of bear in mind, kind of reappearing. I think maybe Roland could come for revenge in some sort of way by the end of the season and cause some trouble there, of course, as well. I think that the Bad Batch, I think it's time for them to move on from Sid. I think that Sid needs to find some other dudes to, do her chores and all of that, quite honestly. And of course, this is because, like, I had mentioned before, the Bad Batch, they're just so much more than that. First of all, not only are they clones of Jango Fett, one of the most feared bounty hunters in the entire galaxy, but they're clones of the Grand Army of the Republic, and at that, they're mutated with special abilities, which just makes them so much stronger and more powerful. What are they doing just messing around with this type of, I guess, just like side missions and all of this? So there's just really not too much to say on all of that. As far as theories and suspicions do go, however, of course, I had mentioned maybe a possible appearance of Boba Fett. That's something I would really like to see. The return of Captain Hauser is something I really like to see. I made a whole separate video on Captain Hauser, hopefully, and possibly with a theory there, joining the overall Bad Batch here and, teaming up with them. Wolf and Gregor and Rex is something I'd also like to see by the end of the season as well, as I kind of think it would be kind of awesome to see their inhibitor chips removed, and maybe even an appearance of Darth Vader there as well at the end of this overall show as well. I think would be really awesome. As far as a season 2 for this show goes, there's just nothing out there, nothing's really confirmed, so I think as fans it's kind of important to kind of almost praise this season 1, as we do, really like a lot of the other episodes of this overall show as well. So why let one little episode, I guess, get in the way is what I'm trying to say. Why let that kind of influence, if we get a season 2, a season 3, why would we let that influence other factors of the overall show if we didn't actually like this overall show because of this one little episode right here? Now, aside from all of that, that's just kind of as far as theories and suspicions go as of right now. Do be sure you are subscribed to the channel so you can get more videos on down some theories and suspicions here for the overall Bad Batch show. And guys, with that, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. What did you think about this episode? Did you think it was okay? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Whatever you may think, let me know down in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as it really does help with the channel. And check out our Instagram on Official Star Wars for more Star Wars related content. Guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. May the Force be with you always. Peace out.